Boston International Airport, American Airlines Flight 11, the daily passenger plane from Boston, Massachusetts to Los Angeles, California, was preparing for departure.
Good morning, American 11 with you, passing through 190 for 230.
American 11 Boston, center under climbing, handle about 280. American 11, turn 20 degrees right.
20 right, American 11.
And at 8:50 a.m., Flight 11 was given clearance to depart. On board were Captain John Owinski, First Officer Thomas McGinnis, 11 crew members, and 81 passengers.
American 11, now climbing cable level 350.
"15 minutes into the flight, as the plane began climbing towards cruising altitude, trouble ensued."
Cleveland. Hi, Cleveland, New York, Boston. I got a little situation with American 11, American 11. We don't know where the aircraft is going. We lost its frequency, then we lost its transponder, and now the aircraft is just west of Albany, heading due south. Oh, my goodness.
And from the back, a voice from the air delivers a chilling message to air control.
Hello, okay, my name is Betty Ong. I'm number 3 on flight 11.
Okay.
The cockpit's not answering. Somebody's stabbed in business class. And I think there's mates that we can't breathe. I don't know. I think we're getting hijacked.
What seat are you in?
Okay, I'm in my jump seat right now.
Okay, you're the flight attendant?
Yes, and the cockpit is not answering their phone.
American Airlines emergency line, please state your emergency.
Hey, this is Nitty, American Airlines calling. I am monitoring a call in which Flight 11, the flight attendant is advising our reps that the pilot, everyone's been stabbed.
They got that piece of down. Keep remaining steady. We have a ball aboard.
Now in control, these suicidal maniacs had transformed an ordinary passenger jet into an air-guided missile.
I'm on a plane that's been hijacked. I'm on the plane. I'm calling from the plane. I want to tell you I love you. Please tell my children that I love them very much. And I'm so sorry, babe. I hope to be able to see your face again, baby. I love you. Bye.
Breaking news story to tell you about. Apparently, a plane has just crashed into the World Trade Center here in New York City. It happened just a few moments ago, apparently. We have very little information available at this point.
Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts. These acts of mass murder were intended to frighten our nation into chaos and retreat. But they have failed.
The Homeland Security Act of 2002 takes the next critical steps in defending our country. Dozens of agencies charged with Homeland Security will now be located within one cabinet department with the mandate and legal authority to protect our people.
And at the front line of this new directive was the FBI.
And the metric was no longer the FBI going out and investigating and bringing the persons to justice. It was, why did the FBI let this happen? The other part was building up what we call Joint Terrorism Task Forces, where we had 35 of them before September 11th. We now have 106.
And since 2001, these brave men and women have managed to prevent over 1,000 terror plots within the United States, saving millions of lives.
The FBI says it pulled off a successful sting operation.
But what if I told you these men and women were actually directly responsible in plotting, facilitating, and executing each and every one of those attacks?
We are interrupting programming now because there has apparently been an explosion.
It was the FBI who provided the bomb and all of the logistical means they needed to commit their crime.
So you say that we have captured few terrorists since 9/11 and manufactured many more. What does it mean to say we manufacture?
When the mafia epidemic hit New York throughout the 20th century, it was thanks to the FBI's various sting operations over the decades that eventually brought this huge network to its knees.
It is a multi-count indictment. It charges Mr. Gotti with 4 murders, a conspiracy to murder another person, obstruction of justice, loan sharking, illegal gambling, and tax evasion.
And so whether it was busting mafias or cartels, stings were a crucial weapon in the Fed's war against crime. And so after 9/11, with the FBI on the front line of the war against terror, and now facing this new unknown enemy, and with no clue of how to deal with it, they decided to go back to their roots. Stings, but now armed with a $3.8 billion budget, and facing immense pressure from the Bush administration, they had to get creative with their stings, and so they introduced an incentive program.
Informants who go to trial are often offered what's called a performance incentive, which is that if the prosecution is able to get a conviction, they'll quote-unquote take care of the informant. And so they have a direct financial incentive in seeing an investigation turn into indictment, and that indictment in turn into a conviction.
And it's at this point where the problem begins. Because following the introduction of this incentive program, the FBI's informant registry went from 1,500 pre-9/11 to over 15,000 post-9/11. And so the perfect storm was brewing. The FBI desperately needed terrorists, and informants were looking to make a quick buck. But then the question becomes, how far is too far? At what point does a sting operation go from preventing a crime to creating one?
On the FBI's shadowy use of informants in its counterterrorism sting operations. A 2014 report by Human Rights Watch found the FBI is focused on, quote, particularly vulnerable people, including those with intellectual and mental disabilities and the indigent.
Recording. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This brother 𝗟𝗘𝗧'𝗦. This video is to all the Muslim youth and all the Muslims worldwide. This is a call to the truth. This is a call to helping and aiding the party of Allah, and helping the Ummah, and bringing back honor to the deen of Allah, and paying back for every sister that's been raped and every brother that's been tortured and raped, and every little Muslim death. And you just lag behind and you sit back and you see it at the shopping center and you smile at them. The only time you should smile is when you bleed.
The man you see in this video is Sami Osmakac, a 25-year-old Albanian-born American of Muslim faith. The video in question was taken by Sami's associate in preparation for the delivery of a car bomb to a popular Irish bar in Tampa, Florida. But what Sami didn't know was that this associate of his, who was helping him plan and execute this entire plot, was in fact an FBI informant who'd been tracking him for over a year. When the informant first encountered Sami had recently checked out of a mental institution following a series of mental issues, And one of the things Sami started exploring following his release was
You
Islam.
think democracy can give us the rights, freedom of religion? You think democracy can give us religious freedom? You have no senses. You Muslims too. You want to promote democracy. Anybody who rules by a rule other than the rule of Allah is a kafir, a non-believer.
The informant, who first met Sami after he'd inquired about purchasing an al-Qaeda flag at a local Muslim market, began roping in this mentally ill and financially struggling 25-year-old into a massive terror plot.
You say Jews and Christians and everybody will go to heaven. You have no knowledge of Islam.
Leaked FBI transcripts detail how the informant not only planned the entire attack, but how FBI agents helped secure thousands of dollars for Sami to purchase weapons and equipment for the entire plot. In one of the transcripts obtained by the defense, which detail an exchange between F.B.I. agents who were discussing Sami, the agents are quoted in saying,
"No, I'm trying to think. If I'm a retarded fool who is hard up for money and I don't have a pot to in, another $500 looks pretty good."
In the tape, the agent is admitting how incapable Sami was in executing this entire plot on his own. Not to mention, in one of the tapes prior to Sami's arrest, the lead agent was heard saying they want a Hollywood ending to all of this. And that's what they got in the end.
Federal agents bust a Tampa terror plot. Tonight, what we're learning about the suspect and the sinister alleged plot to attack crowded hotspots around Tampa using weapons of mass destruction.
Sami Osmakac became the target of an elaborately orchestrated FBI sting that involved a paid informant as well as FBI agents and support staff working to set him up for over a year. The FBI provided all the weapons seen in Sami's martyrdom video. The Bureau also gave Sami the car bomb he allegedly planned to detonate, heck, even money for a taxi so he could get to where the FBI needed him to go. The entire plot was a theatrical piece set up by the FBI. According to several psychiatrists and psychologists who examined Sami before his trial, they noted that he was a deeply disturbed young man who only became a terrorist after the FBI provided both the means and the opportunity necessary to make him one. Here's the sad reality about the FBI's history of corruption, and that's the fact that this isn't something that simply popped up after 9/11 or since the election of Trump. This has been going on since the dawn of the FBI.
COINTELPRO was a massive government criminal operation directed against the population, and it targeted virtually all critical thought and action for not only surveillance but for disruption. It went as far as literal political assassination.
And I know this might be a tough pill to swallow for some conservatives out there, because there's seemingly this assumption that the FBI is simply targeting them, and that's false. In fact, last year in late July, the African People's Socialist Party was raided by federal agents.
As we turn to look at the FBI raiding several properties in late July in St. Louis, Missouri and St. Petersburg, Florida, tied to the African People's Socialist Party, which leads the Uhuru movement. One of the FBI raids targeted the home of 𝗟𝗡𝗧'𝗦, the founder of the African People's Socialist Party. He accused the FBI of targeting his group for their political work.
Loud flashbang grenades were exploding all around the house, and I was later to learn in the back stairwell of the house.
What's happened to the FBI? Has it become a political tool?
One thing people need to understand is that the FBI has always operated in a political manner, whether it was the right-wing FBI in the 50s or the modern-day pro-left FBI.
The home of the 45th President of the United States has been raided by the FBI.
The agency has always operated as a political tool and will sadly continue to operate as such for the foreseeable future.
FBI is the national political police.